Hi folks, hope you're having a wonderful week. Welcome to Thursday. The prize draw is this Sunday. I think we're going to start around 4 o'clock on Sunday. That's 4 o'clock GMT. That may change nearer the day. If it does, I'll put a new announcement on the channel. The prize draw is for £50 worth of free models from Composite Games. If they can't get them to you because you're in New Zealand or somewhere, I'm not even sure that they can't get them to you, but maybe if they can't, they will send it to me and I will get it to you at my own expense. That is a thank you from me to you for supporting the channel. If you want to be involved in the prize draw, you need to be a member of either the Patreon at any level or head on over down below to become a member of the channel. Either of those two things get you an entrance to the prize draw. If you are entered into both, then you get 2 entrances to the prize draw. Wonderful stuff. You probably won't have as good a chance to win models at this, at this chance pot for quite a long time, because there are only like going to be about 100 to 120 people involved in the draw, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to do these every single month, and so I will do. I think I'm going to do that. And next month's, as in July's, well, the very start of August will be an awesome one, because we have 2 prizes so far for that month. That'll be really, really cool. One of them is just in model form, so that's for something for you to look out for. So, another positive video for today, heading into the last video I'm going to do for 10th edition for quite some time, because I think we've sort of done it now, you know what I mean? We've gone through nearly all of the rules as they've come out. I've not done every single index and preview because, quite frankly, Games Workshop was doing them too quickly for me. They were doing such a good job of staying on top of things that I didn't really need to give you any more context. They were all just right there. So, going onwards from here, I'm literally going to be going over the entire game in this video and talking to you about the things that I've picked out. I've played 5 games now. I've been very lucky enough to have friends around me that I can play games with. So I've played 5 games now. We've gone through the rules. We've gone through all the bits and bobs. So I wanted to just get on here and hopefully give you some context about what I think about the game so far. So, first of all, we're looking at the Leviathan box set here. These are absolutely gorgeous models. You can tell I was making my way through them before. In fact, I have one who's going to be a Grey Knight, and it's this guy. But apart from him, all the others are pretty cool too. It is a wonderful, wonderful box set. But my main crux is that Games Workshop tried to make sure that 10th edition was the simplest, fastest version of the game that's ever been produced. So is this the best starter edition for new beginners ever? I'm not so sure. First things first, we have to openly state here that no, 10th edition is not technically the best edition for starters ever. That honour for me goes to 8th edition. Not for the quality of its game, because other editions have been better editions than 8th, but for the ease at which one can pick it up and start playing. But I do give 10th edition the weigh-in option here because its rules are technically free. You can go and download them right now online and start playing the game right now if you wanted to. We do have to take Games Workshop on their own terms, however, and if stratagems are going to be a thing, then this is where we are. I must say that if you're going to build an edition that smooths down the cracks of 9th edition and its bloat, I think Games Workshop have done a great job so far. I honestly do. I honestly think 10th edition is a great slimming down of 9th. It is just a chopped down version of 9th, which is exactly what we want. The rules overall are far more condensed, weapons appear on profiles of characters in their full glory, and each kit seems to be a build as you see set that leaves little options for expression, but also leaves little room to get anything wrong. Now that is a controversial thing that we will touch on throughout this video. As you can see here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so we can see it in its glory. There we go. Things like Caldor Drago. Caldor Drago doesn't really have any options. Let's go down to the Grandmaster. There we go. The Grandmaster's got some options on him, which is good. Before I carry on reading from a script. So, combinations of different weapons are there on your character sheet, as you can see. You don't need to raid through several books to find your special weapons lists or anything like that, which is a great change. We do lose something here, however, in 10th edition, and that is the unique marker that 40k armies can have of their players. In 7th edition, for instance, let's say you want to play an Ultramarine Successor chapter who are obsessed with melter weapons. Do it then. Each squad can have one melter weapon, and your Devastators, if they have 10 Marines in them, and Devastators can go mental with them. Now though, not so much. Our last video was on this importance of expression. It worries me that we are seeing the hobby drift more to more modular rules out of the box that cannot be fiddled with. We're going away from Windows and we're going towards Apple. And that's not something that I really support. This is the price of shearing down your complexity though. It's just the price that comes with it. Or at least, people would have you believe that. I believe that it's possible for an edition of 40k to be both easy to learn at a basic level and to have options to really make an army your own down the line. For instance, why not present all options of weapons below a character or squad instead of simply stating what they can and cannot have? That and their complete markup as well. This would mean every data slate for a squad has a back and front, perhaps so it's a little more cumbersome than it actually is right now, but you maintain the expression of your players. There are certain units that do this very well. Almost every unit in the Grey Knight Index, for example, is completely customizable in any way you see fit from their armory, as you can see from here. Any way you see fit. So we have the Grandmaster here, which is really, really cool. He's here. He has his abilities, his special rules over here. But he also has his ranged weapons and his melee weapons. And you're thinking, well, he can't possibly have all of those at the same time. Well, no, he can't. This model is equipped with a Stormbolter and our Nemesis Force weapon. This model can replace the Stormbolter with one of the following: one Incinerator, one Silencer, or one Psy Cannon. Right? Good. Excellent. Lovely stuff. It should be worded better than that. It should be, with one of the following only. Right? So, one Incinerator, or one Silencer, or one Psy Cannon. But I get what they're going for. But you will have some idiots out there who try to give them an Incinerator, a Silencer, and the Psy Cannon on the same model, just because, those are the people we're with in the hobby, apparently. But the actual index itself is absolutely fine with how it is. It's got a Nemesis Force weapon, which is from the list. But here's the thing. Here's the thing for me. All of the Nemesis Force weapons should be underneath this here. They should be right there, so you can see everything that's on there. Okay? Because different Nemesis Force weapons should do different things. They just should. Nowadays, they don't. Like a Force Halberd is the same as a Force Sword, and blah, 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 that kind of thing. I would have that choice be preserved in the Grey Knight Codex, and I would put this across the entire width and breadth of 40k as well. We should have below this Nemesis Force Halberd, which has an attack of 4, but a weapon skill of 2+, okay, fine. A strength of 5, but an AP of 4, and a damage of 2, right? So it's got different levels of weapons for each and every single weapon. So your Nemesis Force Sword will be the best weapon overall in terms of being the standard weapon. It's a good standard weapon. And Force Halberds and Hammers and Falchions should lean into different things. So Falchions gives you more attacks. Hammers gives you a much bigger strength output, whereas Halberds give you much better armor piercing output. And so you can modular and make your Grey Knights what you want them to be, instead of being just like, you now have a Nemesis Force weapon, right? That's just how I would do it. I think we are losing, to a certain degree, we are definitely losing, unfortunately, for me, we are losing some of our expressions in terms of our forces and things like that. Of course, we have Brother Captain Stern here, who has a Nemesis Force Sword, which is technically exactly the same as the Nemesis Force weapon. So it's basically just a Force weapon. That's called a Force Sword because he's a character. But I bet you if we go down here to our Brotherhood Champions, yeah, even the Librarian, because he's not named, it's a Nemesis Force weapon. Just a Nemesis Force weapon. The attack's value changes because we have our, every model changes the attack's value, but everything else, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. So I would change things in that way. I would make sure every single modular army that we have has loads of different options. Right now, not so much. Right now we are cut down a little bit to essentially, you have a Nemesis Force weapon. Congratulations. That's it. There's no difference. Absolutely no difference. You could have halberds, you could have falchions, you could have whatever you want. Nothing much is going to change about your unit. Now, that does make it more simple. It does make it more simple. And when we've played games like this, it has made it slightly quicker in certain turns to go through. I know exactly what I've got, so I just roll for it, right? I get that. But I would rather have the modular rules taken away so we can have more expression rules. I'm going to call them expressionist rules. I want expressionist rules where I get rewarded for knowing my index. If I know all of the weapons in my index and I know exactly which squads have what weapons, the game will move much quicker and I will have much better games because I've learned my rules. Right now, the game moves at a pace that it's always going to move at, and it's never going to get any quicker. You know? I would much rather allow our players to be expressionists rather than being, I have a Nemesis force weapon. What's a hammer? Yeah, I know, but it's just a force weapon because it's in a Grey Knight unit. So, well, isn't that a falchion? Yeah, it is, but it's just a Nemesis force weapon because that's what it says in the codex. Do you know what I mean? It just seems a bit lame. We're taking away the expression from our players, which I don't like. So, the same cannot be said, again, as I've just said, for Space Marines, Eldar, Tau, and the like. I think the Grey Knight Index, and I've read quite a few of them now, the Grey Knight Index is probably the most expression-full index in the game. And that's saying a lot. What this is, however, is the best edition ever for new players outside of 8th edition. I will give 10th edition more points than 8th in this, because its rules are free and available to all at launch. So, sorry, that was my computer, not yours. The rules are available for everybody for free at launch. You can go on there right now and you can start playing 10th edition and learning the rules yourself. This will see a massive groundswell in playership with its release, and is a stroke of real genius by Games Workshop, although it's something we've asked for years, I admit. I sincerely hope that we are not expected to pay for more expressive rules, though, in the form of 10th edition down the line, and you know what I mean. I really hope the expression in the game isn't locked behind a paywall called the Grey Knight Codex, or the Space Marine Codex, or the Eldar Craft World Codex. I really hope that's not the case. I really hope it's not. But, remember our analogy the other day when I said, listen, the hobby is a big old bucket. It's got loads of holes in the bucket, and we're pouring water into the bucket to try and make sure we fill it up before all the water drains out the holes. Well, what Games Workshop have done with these free rules is make sure more water is getting poured into that bucket, and I support that. That's a great change. Well done, Games Workshop. We've asked for it for years, but you've done it. Brilliant, thank you. Even the game itself has been trimmed. The psychic phase has been folded into the game, for instance. Wounds and saves have been streamlined in 8th, and this has continued. Army compositions that are legal are easier to field than ever on a very black and white. Objective secured is now not a complete mess and takes under 30 seconds to work out on average in my own games. The game is in a great place at the moment from a beginner standpoint. What it is not is quicker to play. And this is what I think Games Workshop meant when they said it's simplified but not simple. That's what I think they meant. The problem is Games Workshop also told us that the game was much quicker to play. It's not. But it doesn't really need to be. Let me explain. 10th edition is not quicker to play than 9th. I've played 5 games now, and whilst I love the rules and think this is a very fun edition of the game, it is not a quicker game than 9th. We may not have to sift through a multitude of books anymore, but even with this minor amount of stratagems available in the game to each faction, the game can slow to a crawl as each player attempts to out-gotcha the other. I think it is time to admit that while stratagems are fun in concept, in implementation, they simply drag down the game. I would fix this by folding special rules, as we can see on the Grey Knight part here. We have abilities here. All of these abilities, I would have them be akin to stratagems. So you activate them at a time. They're not just passive. They're very powerful things that a unit can do that you activate at a certain time. We're folding, we're basically doing the same thing to stratagems that Games Workshop did to the psychic phase. We're folding them into the core game itself. So we're no longer getting this card and going, I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Wait, can I do that now? Does it say I can do that now? I don't know. We have these abilities that can be done at any time. Or, if they're psychic abilities, they just say psychic as they do there. But that's what we do. We have literally, let's just say, heroic intervention. Right? So, a Brotherhood Terminator squad has heroic intervention if a warlord joins their unit. Right? So it says heroic intervention, and it says, you know, assault next to it. So the assault phase. You can do it in the assault phase. It's right there in black and white, ready to go. That's your stratagem. You can activate it in the assault phase. It comes baked into the unit. You don't have to take the stratagem and go, ooh, when can I use this? It's right there for you all the time to use. It's baked into the rules, just like the psychic phase is, right? That's what I would do. So, I would fix this by folding special rules and stratagems into the same thing. Have special rules be things that you activate on certain characters to give your army or unit a big buff. Have them be changeable and modular, for instance, so you can slip Hammer Hand onto Drago if you want. You can say, Drago has Hammer Hand in this. Vortex of Doom, you can put that onto your Nemesis Dread Knight if you want. Things like that. That would mean we still get a massive cinematic moment in our game, but they are also folded into the game. We don't just say, hold it, as one person plays their Magic the Gathering like I win card. Stratagems are a great idea, they add to the spectacle of the game, but we either need to accept that they slow down the game, but the positives outweigh the negatives, or we get rid of them entirely for a new system like this one. That's my suggestion. So, all in all, yes, I firmly believe this. 10th edition, right, is likely the best Games Workshop has come up with for new players. It is a dream for the competitive scene as well, as things are clarified in a better way, and we now have electronic indexes that, for now, before the dreaded money-grabbing codexes come out, are able to be patched quickly by Games Workshop. As I said to you the other day, we are in the golden age of every edition. This is the best part, which is why I'm playing so many games right now. I'm playing so many games because I'm getting my games in now. I want to be able to say, listen, this is the best part of the edition, and I'm playing these rules. I will not play with the Grey Knight Codex, and I ask you not to play with your Codex. These rules are fine, they're balanced, they can be worked on very quickly. These are the ones that I want to play with, right? I don't want your book that can't be changed. I don't want your book with printed out sheets of paper slid in because they've updated the rules. No. I want to play with these indexes. I want to play with the indexes. That's why I'm playing so much with them now. And they are fun, they are quick, but they are not quicker than 9th. Let me explain that a little bit. We are on the cusp of a bright new era, I think. This is a positive video because this is how I feel about 10th. That is my takeaway from 10th edition as a game. Not as a launch. As a launch, it's a piece of shit. But as a game, phenomenal. I love the direction of the rules as a whole and think 10th edition runs well on the tabletop. Whilst a 9th edition game of 40k at 2,000 points will take around 3 hours, even two people knowing the rules of 10th pretty well, which I feel like I do now, 10th edition at 2,000 points will still take you around 3 hours, right? What I will say is 9th edition is taking you at least 3 hours to do 2,000 points. 10th edition is taking you around 3 hours. It may take you 2 to 2.5 if you have very quick and small model count armies. So, an elite Grey Knight army against an elite Custodes army, that would take around 2.5 hours because there's less models to go over, right? That's not a faster game, and I wish Games Workshop would have just kept their mouths shut on that point. Simpler, not simple, yes. They hit that nail on the head. Faster as a game, though? No. Still, after a game of 40k now with 10th edition, I don't feel like I've just mentally gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson like I did with 9th. When I played a game of 9th, I was done. with Warhammer for a few days. If I played a game of 9th, I was done. I'd had enough of Warhammer, I was done. I'd need to be in the mood for 9th, then I'd go into it, I'd play a game of it, I'd be tired of it, I'd want it to end, and when it was finished, I was done for weeks. 10th, I can play 2 or 3 games in a day. Easily. So, it's not a quicker game, but it is less taxing on you, and it is more enjoyable. I don't think I can doff my cap any more to a game system than that. Many people are saying it's underwhelming because it didn't change so much from 8th to here. But it didn't need to. 8th was, we've been telling, that's the apex of what they should have done for the hobby, right? That's the apex. There's always people who have different opinions, but by and large, people I know, people on Discord, even in comments, by and large, they love 8th. This is 8th on steroids. This is what this is. It's 8th edition on steroids. And I love that. I no longer feel like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards after a game of Warhammer 40,000. I can play 2 to 3 games in a day, and I'm really lazy. I'm really lazy and I can do it. Just think what a tournament player can do with these rules. No longer will you be going to a tournament and going, oh my god, I just want it to end. I just want it to end. Right? There's no longer going to be that feeling. For now. For now. We'll wait and see when the codexes come out, and I have a funny feeling there will be 1 or 2 rather annoyed videos around that time when those start dropping. But for now, 10th edition is in a great place. And I'm still really bad at bolt gun. But I love you all a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow for some more Hobby Nightmares. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I can't wait to play more 10th edition. I've got my next game booked in for this weekend. And I can't wait. See you then. Have a good one. Bye now.